The Student Refugee Program is the only sponsorship program that combines resettlement with sponsorship to higher education. It is an integral program that helps newcomers with their higher education, and it is not a unique thing to SRP.
Sponsored students come from diverse backgrounds, but one thing they all have in common is they must be able to understand and navigate the differences within the Canadian education system.
In order to support sponsored students in their education integration, it is best to understand some of the main differences.
Back home, being in class, we usually do not ask questions to the profs. Like, we just sit in class and all we do is take notes and listen, that's it. And he doesn't have office hours, so you could be confused, but you just study what you are given. He doesn't expect us to raise our hands. He doesn't want to be questioned.
Yeah, it's more of my job to teach and your job to listen.
Yeah.
So why are you objecting? Why are you arguing? I didn't come here to argue. I came here to teach you. So
it's more like it's something we got used to. Like, we look up to them. It's like our parents, and whatever they say, or raising our hands, why did you say that, or like objecting, that's the huge mistake. Like, it's like being like, it's very disrespectful. And then they won't take it lightly. They'll be like, why? Then you'll be like, they'll just start yelling at you while you're in class, and every student is looking at you.
So you really don't understand what you're doing. You're just doing it because
you have to.
Like, the lecture says do it.
Yeah. And then at the end of the day, like, what we believe in is like, whatever you're given, that is the correct thing. So we don't have our own like opinion or our own way, or like applying what we learned and like using it in a different way. It's just that this is it and that's it.
The pace of university is much different from what they might have experienced in high school. Whereas they may have done a chapter in a month in high school, they learn a chapter in one 3-hour lecture. So the pace is usually something that you need to get used to, and it takes a little bit of learning, but just to expect a change, and that it might be more intensive.
With ours, they come into class, and if you're lucky, they tell you a day in advance that tomorrow we're having a test. You can't go up and say, oh, what are we having the test on? No, we aren't sort of given that structured schedule. Before I came, I had someone to help me through it because she taught in an international school. But not everyone will have that same training. And even with that, I came in and there was a structure I had no idea about, like what's APA, what's MLA, you had to learn all that. You had to learn how to reference people without plagiarizing. You had to learn how to rephrase stuff. So it's pretty hard. So just having someone there you can fall on to go to help you through it is enough.
In Canadian culture, interaction with authority figures, like professors, is much more casual than elsewhere. Respect, punctuality, and attention to detail are important, but in this section we'll demonstrate how those things can be different in Canadian culture.
It's good to let the sponsored students know that it's not disrespectful to speak in class, to put up your hand and ask a question, that professors actually appreciate it if there's interaction in the class a lot of the time. Offer a critical viewpoint, something that you thought of that maybe they didn't mention, and that's considered respectful, and it shows that you're engaged. And in a lot of courses you get marks for participating in them as well.
So beyond going to your professors to learn the course material, they can actually be an asset for you for other reasons, like getting research positions or furthering your education, being a reference for you, or providing other opportunities. So it's a really great thing to have those relationships with your professor. For any student, it can be intimidating to talk to your professors and ask them any questions that you may have about course content or about their expectations for the course. So one piece of advice would be to, if you do have trouble with, or if the sponsored student does have trouble in their course, then they could write out a list of questions and then take that to their professor during office hours, or even send them an email if their professor is okay with that.
When the professor says, okay, send us an email, appointment, whatever, it's a part of the syllabus, that doesn't like apply to us. We'll just look at it, and like for the first 2 years of my university here, I never used to go to the professors. This third year, that's when I go to the professors, because I found out, like, because as you go higher, you learn, like, and then you find out it's not like embarrassing to actually see a professor. It's very encouraging, and you actually get more information, or like become successful, or like succeed in your exam, just because having an extra information that you didn't have before.
Something else to keep in mind is some of the good ways to be efficient and have the useful tools, and at the same time know what amounts to cheating.
And it's just we're given like a topic or like something to talk about based on that textbook. Then we just, you know, give all the information that we have like been studying and just put it there. We're not like we don't put pages, or like we don't cite them where we got them, just because you just have your own paper, the paper that you're actually working on, the exam paper. That's it. You don't have any other information. So that means you don't know where the page is. You just like giving the information that you have studied, and they don't expect you to cite anything, because we don't copying and all that. It's not even part of. I had to learn here, like there's something called copying or like plagiarizing. So it was different thing, and I learned from the hard way, because all those information we're not given like back at home. Like we are not introduced to those kind of like essay writing. So it's completely different thing.
Another key difference is that more and more Canadian professors are using web-based teaching tools, like online quizzes and assignment submissions. Here are some suggestions as to how you can help students adapt to these new methods.
Being immersed in that kind of system without you having background information is just very confusing.
Give them the background knowledge on how to use those resources that are available to them. A lot of it is just really showing them how to use it and let them experience it for themselves so that they can apply it in practice.
If we send you an email, please reply, because they know that we don't reply emails. Even if we read them, and then we let, like, even if I ask, like, are you free tomorrow? It will take me another week, or like that somebody, oh, did you get my emails? Like, oh, I got it, sorry, I didn't reply. I actually don't find it's like a bad thing not replying, because I actually don't care. So for them, like, they're waiting for my email reply, but I don't reply, just because I didn't get used to it. Yeah, I didn't get used to it. I read, but then that's it.
As with all aspects of sponsorship, directly helping sponsored students is great, but the ultimate goal is to transition them to independence. This means by providing them with important tools to help themselves. Your local committee might be willing to help and academically good, but keep in mind that every campus has a bunch of tools available.
What's really great about the local committee is that you have students that are really passionate about supplementing the student experience. And along with that, you can really use the resources on campus to help what you're already doing with them personally. So really taking a look at what's on your campus, whether it be academic resources, the writing center, study skills, if there's a learning center that helps with, you know, time management, those kind of skills that they can develop along with your personal coaching, and definitely using those resources as a way to transition the student to making really good choices in their academics on their own.
Sit down with them and take out their course syllabuses and just go through them and see what assignments they have to do, what midterms they have, and just look at all of that and consider what resources they will need to access in order to do those successfully, and just direct them to where they can find them. You're not doing the work for them, but it's just guiding them in the right direction, showing them where the resources are available, and just help them maybe with a bit of a timeline, like knowing how long in advance it's good to start writing an essay or doing a lab report or those sort of things.
The important thing to keep in mind with all these resources is to make sure the student truly knows and understands how to use them and why they're important. So make sure you take them to the centers and get them familiar with the different tools they can use and how they can use them in their years to come.
Let's take a step back and look at some of the bigger picture things that are important when transitioning into independence. Most SRP students come to Canada hoping to be a lawyer, doctor, or engineer. It is important to have a discussion about what these careers entail, but also to discuss other options that they may not have thought of.
It's really good to have a conversation about academic expectations with the sponsored students. Many Canadian students don't realize the wealth of opportunities they have once they enter university, so the sponsored students may not know that as well. So it's really good to let them know what kind of programs are out there and what kind of opportunities that they do have, which can help them in the future.
Lastly, you want to help sponsored students continue with their academics by helping them understand and apply for various funding sources.
Sponsored students have to take on loans to pay for their education. It's a really good idea to show them all of the scholarships or bursaries or grants that they may be eligible for, and either helping them through the application process or directing them to someone who could help them with that.
The SRP provides real opportunity for former refugees to achieve their full potential through higher education. These are truly bright and inspiring individuals, and with your help, they can achieve great academic success.